We're a Beirut-based studio. The focus is about all the young generation of designers that's coming from a country where design is really starting to grow, to boom. Yeah, in the recent years, because before the culture of design was not very existent in Lebanon. So this collection is called Prologue. It's for now it's this buffet, small buffet, and we have the bar cart. For 2 years, the bar cart is actually our signature item. We started with a bar cart when we first started the studio. Like to revive this item from the 50s that's been forgotten, kind of.
You can very easily use it. It can hold a lot of weight.
It's really practical. You can
move
drive
it around.
everywhere. It has a compartment inside. Sorry, pardon the mess. Compartments for bottles and glasses and everything.
And of course, you have rubber on the wheels because we don't want to hurt the tiles inside the houses or the restaurants.
I am a product designer based in Beirut. I studied in École in Switzerland for a year. And then I work in New York, between New York and Beirut in architecture. And then I came back to Beirut. I participated in many fairs, in the Armory Show in New York, Guild in Cape Town, Dubai, Design de Dubai in Dubai, and different fairs in Greece and Paris and London. This is a series of micro architecture that I designed in Beirut. It retakes some detail, some architectural detail, and some buildings from famous architects. And actually, it's kind of vessel that you can put on any table that you can use whenever you want. It's handmade and it's made of Carrara stone. And the chair is like so in Beirut you have people who work the wickers, the weaving. They work normally on small wood structure, and I wanted to develop some new design with them. So I designed the steel structure this time, and they did the weaving. It was a collaboration between me and some blind artisans.
My name is Anastasiei Nisten, and I've created this collection. It's called the Troll Collection. And the idea behind this collection is to have a reinterpretation of a beanbag. And so what I did is that I made a wooden skeleton in which you can stuff the pillows. So when you sit in it, it's like you're sitting in a very, very comfortable pillow, and you never want to get up. Lebanon, well, this is the Lebanese Talent Awards, and I think Lebanon is very much a country that is multicultural. It's like a melting pot. All Lebanese speak 3 different languages already. We travel a lot around the world, so I think it's the perfect example of multiculturalism and opening borders, because we embrace different cultures and different languages, different countries.
My name is Kарлay Baz. I'm a Lebanese designer. I was born in Beirut and raised in Beirut, but I completed my studies in France. So I have an interior architecture degree from ESSAC Penningen, and then I did my master's at École in Switzerland before moving to London for some professional experiences. Initially, I started off in the fashion industry, so designing interiors for boutiques at Burberry. And then afterwards, I worked for Vivienne Westwood, again doing the same sort of job and some visual merchandising. But I really missed working on product, which is what I studied and specialized in. So I joined Zaha Hadid Architects in London, and I worked on a lot of products for her there. After spending 10 years abroad, I moved back to Lebanon. I decided to collaborate with local craftsmen, and I rediscovered my country through those little collaborations. So here you have 3 series of lightings. You have the candelabra, that's handmade. Everything's handmade, obviously, since I only work with craftsmanship. So you have the brass candelabra. You have those pairs of appliques, which are an oyster collection. It's made in brass and hand painted. And then these tables are part of my latest solo show at the Джой Мардини Design Gallery in Beirut, which opened during Beirut Design Week in June. It's the Minerals collection. So it's made in marble and resin. What we did is we hand sculpted the marble, and we inserted resin. So we worked on a research of pigments, and then you pour the resin into the insert, and then we established a sort of process to polish it in 4 steps in order for it to be seamless.
I'm Markom Dibé. I'm a product designer and interior architect from Beirut. And this is my 2018 collection for Maison&Objet as part of the Rising Talent Award. So we're going to start with the monolith console tables, which was the starting point of this collection, and it was an envy of working with terrazzo. I wanted to do something in terrazzo. Because you had a base that bulky, I wanted to have a top that would be much thinner and much lighter. So we worked with the composition of the terrazzo, adding to it resin. This way we were able to have a 2 centimeter thickness, which allows us to have something big and thin, but that doesn't break. And playing with the assembly of the table. So we're not in the big blocks, but we're in the panels, in the sheets of terrazzo. And with this and that, I wanted to have something super light that would go with it, and this is the couch right here. And the starting point for this couch was the fabric. I wanted something white, but with a texture that would play with the light. So basically, if you move this and you look at that, you don't have any straight angles, it's curves, curve from here and here and here. It's the light that defines the couch and the shape. And if you look at it from far, the base is a chrome, it's a stainless chrome, which gives the impression of floating. So it's a flying. There's nothing serious about playing with tanks. Everybody's telling me, oh, is there a political message because you're from Lebanon? No, not at all. It's not my job to be serious and to have political messages. No, it's just that I think that at our age we still need to play. And when we were kids we were playing with soldiers, and now we should continue to play. I just took the soldiers because it's one of my memories from my childhood, plastic soldiers. But we revisited them in marble because now we're adults and we need to have like nice materials on our desks.
I'm a young designer from Beirut. I don't have a niche, but what's common between all my projects is always material exploration, innovation, or experimentation if you want. So my first collection, Morning Ritual, it's a sustainable design made of coffee waste and newspaper waste. So basically I collect all the coffee grounds from local coffee shops in Beirut, and I mix it with the paper pulp. That I remove all the ink, I extract the ink, I make it all natural and clean, and I put it with a natural binding agent, and I mold them on top of molds that I create myself. They're very rigid, they're super lightweight and very, very hard. It's biodegradable and very environmental friendly, and it's handmade. This is Impermanence. It's a series of 7 concrete vases. So I collected those pieces from construction sites in Beirut. Those are stress tests. So they do pressure tests on it, and once they see if it's good or not, they throw it away. So what I did is I collected them, and the story behind it is that I'm giving a second life to forgotten objects or forgotten materials, and because they already accomplished their first function, which was being stress tests, I give them a more permanent function, which is vases. So each one underwent different surgeries, I like to call it that way, and I created different processes, whether it's brass, wicker, brass, wood, glass, and wicker again, but different techniques. So basically, I wanted to learn explore a very vast material, because it has so much possibilities, and it's very unpredictable because you never know what's going to come out. So you put it in the oven, it might crack, it might break, it might change, it might shrink, it might whatever.
First of all, it was a conversation with François Leblanc, the director of Galerie Ben Simon. So the idea was to give the audience here in Paris a good general idea of what Lebanese design is. So if you go around the exhibition, you'll find various materials, various different finishes, various different shapes and forms. If you close your eyes and you start thinking of Lebanese design, you would start thinking about Orientalism and Islam representation, and this is what you would think. Of course, Arabic influences, but the fact that we all speak different languages, French or English, and the fact that we were all raised, I mean, I'm talking for the designers, that they were all raised in environments, in Western environments. And by that I mean that they did their studies either in Lausanne or in the States or in Paris. I mean, all of them did their studies around the world. That makes the result that you see. So basically, if you look at Lebanese design and designers, there is no real Arab identity to Lebanese design and designers. It's much more, I would say, eclecticism. We look like ourselves, obviously, but we can be commercialized and exported very easily because we don't have a strong physical identity to our characteristic, to the aesthetics of the designers' works. This year I have 2 highlights at the gallery. In May we launched a very important collection called Stratagems by Kарлay Baz. And it had a huge impact on the press and in the audience, and sales were great. So I would say that the table by Kарлay Baz is one of my favorite objects. And the second object, or the second designer I would mention, would be Markom Dibé. So anything by Markom Dibé in the show would be my second favorite object. Lebanese design, as you know it today, is a 7-year-old market, so it's a very young market. But a few years back, there is an older generation of designers. I would name 3 names: Karim Shaya, 4, Karim Shaya, Mike Baroud, Nada Dibis, and Karen Shekarjan. These are 4 names that were here way before the gallery was here, and they've been working in the design field either as a designer or as a scholar or as a brand for a very long time. They set the path for us. Of course it can break borders. I mean it all falls, after all, under the umbrella of art. This is art too, and the way art can break borders and break barriers and conversation around design and art can I would say, sweeten relationships between people.